welcome back to the Time for Heroes podcast. On the podcast this time out, I've got Kris Boyle, drummer, trainer enthusiast and activist. He's got his own shop up in Dundee called Dundee Sole. He was the drummer in the Twist, and he's doing a lot of work for knife crime up in Dundee now. So lots and lots to talk about. We're going to touch on all that, plus I'd imagine it's going to go off in some mad tangents. But what I like to do at the start, Kris, is get right back to the start. What life was like for a young Kris Boyle growing up.
It was fun, to be honest with you. I enjoyed growing up. I would say my heyday was the 90s, so there was a lot of cool stuff to see, to be fair. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I went to a primary school in the Hull Town area of the town. Just played football or daft stuff like that when I was younger. Just what you do as a boy.
And what was it like your friend group and all that? Because obviously, like, when you look at the View kicking off and all them surrounding them, and then you were maybe just behind them. So what was it like? Were you all kind of similar backgrounds?
Kinda. The View were from Drybrough, but I went to the same high school as them. I was like a year below Kyle. So seeing what they'd done was incredible, to be honest with you, because before the View, I would say the attitude around Dundee is what you couldn't do anything. That's how maybe like Superstar Tradesman was like trying to speak to like a younger generation, because that was the mentality in Dundee that we were told when we were younger. Like, you had to get a trade, you had to do this because this was like the best option. You were never told that you could venture out and dream big. There was no examples at the time, really. There was nothing. I mean, there was things in the 80s like the Associates, stuff like that, but we never seen anything like that. So yeah, for the View breaking through the way they did was incredible. Especially, like, I would say it was a massive influence to me. And
like, obviously you said about that, like getting told to get a trade and all that. I'm pretty sure, looking at your old Facebook and all that for years back, what were you, like a plasterer or something like that?
My mum says I'm the most qualified person she's ever met. I served my time as a plant fitter, which is like a mechanic for like heavy machinery. But I hated that. I really hated that. Like, it was never my thing. But I used to get like mechanical jobs because of it, because I had the qualification for it. So I ended up working in a big incinerator plant, which is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I ended up studying. Well, I got my City Guilds in Thailand.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I can mind all the posts back then.
Yeah, the Thailand. Yeah. But yeah, the only reason I'd done that was to get out of when I got in the incinerator, because it was like you got a shift allowance, so it was a bigger wage than like a normal wage. So once you've got like an extra 500 quid or something a month, like, you're trapped because you can't drop that. So yeah, I was stuck there for like 2 years. So yeah, I just like, the Thailand was an option to get out of that. I worked for a while as well.
And like back, obviously you touched on like kind of as a youngster, and it's music and football at that age, isn't it? So I seen the other night you're still playing football over 35s, is it?
Yeah.
So like, what was the dreams then as a young boy? Was it, did you have dreams of playing football, or when did the music come in, and when did you kind of think about that?
Yeah, like, I think every young lad that wants to be a football player. I think I realised I wasn't good enough when I hit high school. The thing about our school at the time, and I think this would be like a big influence on why the View ended up the way they did as well. Like, this was like the height of Ned culture. You know what I mean? Like early 2000s. So like, the big thing in the city about here was DJ Rankin and stuff. It was all that sort of music. That was everywhere. Apart from our school was like, we had the look of like the long jackets, the long hair. It was like very Oasis orientated or guitar music orientated, and we were different in that way for the rest of the city. And yeah, like a big part of that was the driver influence as well, I would say. Like they were all, I mean, Kyle and that were learning to play guitars when they were younger. Like they had that interest like well before, so like that obviously stemmed into the sort of the way the school was as well. Yeah, so I would say that like music was big for me in school. That's how when I actually came when the View took off, Dundee as a whole, loads of people were trying to put bands together. But obviously, like you said, it was like the culture that we came up with, so not everybody learned instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember at the time, because I knew how to play the drums, like there was loads of bands I could have just like walked into because they didn't have drummers. That's how I ended up actually playing, because my mate was just like you got to come and play the drums for us. Like we can't get a drummer. And I was just like, right, okay. And that's how it started.
So who did you start with? Is it The Trend? Was that the first band?
Yeah. The Trend was my first band.
You
Yeah.
and Billy Mitchell, was there a boy, was it Josh Walker, was he in?
Yeah, Josh Walker played lead guitar. Billy Mitchell, Sean Kenny was the singer, and my mate Dan Loftus. Yeah, that was just like a starting off like punk band sort of. Don't know, learning trying to learn the trade, if you will.
Aye, because like what you said there about kind of the View, kind of like the View kind of kicked the doors down, and then everybody else came after, and like that's for views up in Dundee, but like obviously I was down in Glasgow, so when I discovered the View, right for then I get right into all the other Dundee bands through them. So like just rhyming off a few that I've got wrote
Well,
down.
the Law were like one of the most underrated bands ever.
Aye.
They were brilliant.
Well, that's it. You had the Law and Louisiana. They were like the other two kind of big ones initially.
They were like a more acquired taste. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think people appreciated how good of musicians they were because of the style they were playing. Whereas, like the Law, I don't know why. Maybe it was because they were slightly older or whatever. Like I don't know why they didn't like take off massive, because their tunes were epic.
Yeah. My mate used to slag me off, said that whenever I was at a gig, see when I couldn't dance, so I just used to stand and punch the air. Like he said that I was like the lead singer of the Law, because that's what he used to do, Stuart.
Yeah.
But so then obviously for the Law and Louisiana and the View, I then discovered all these other bands. So yourself, Lost City Soul, the Brogues, later on Thieves, Carousel, and all that. And fucking Ronnie Faulkner has been in fucking nearly every one of the bands, man. What's the script with him?
He was good at harmonies and he could play along. And yeah, he's got an interest in it. He gave when we came to the Twist, he gave us like that harmonising sound that was sort of gone new for it. Well, later on. So he was like the missing link to that. I would definitely say he was just like he could sing like Kyle, just not as confidently, I suppose, but he could really like have a note, like very very well.
I can mind seeing him playing at Tina Park as well. He came on stage with a Glasgow band, High Five Alive.
I remember that. That was the one with the drummer. He had no arms there. No. Who was that again? I always get mixed up because there was a few Glasgow bands. But I remember one where the drummer had no arms. And he was absolutely amazing.
Well, the bands that I was into down here would have been High Five Alive, the Apple Scruffs, and then you had Ewan Butler and all that out in Bathgate, all that mob. And I think what happened with High Five Alive and Apple Scruffs kind of formed into Strawberry Ocean Sea. I think like a couple of members for each of the band done that. But there was that scene, and I think I seen Apple Scruffs and maybe the Twist played King Tut's or something, New Year's Revolution, King Tut's. I think I came and see you there, and then it was a Tina Park that year. Ronnie played on stage with High Five Alive.
I seem to remember something about that, to be fair.
Aye, man, it's obviously, man, we're talking fucking, nearly 20 years ago, and fucking
2010.
Mm-hmm.
It was either 2010 or 2011.
I can mind it was January. I ended up having a fight with my mate in the taxi on the way home. I think we were both punching each other in the back of a hackney.
It was January. It was like the 15th of January, because I remember it like being amazed that the boy said we were 15 from a sellout, and we weren't even the headline band. Like, it was one of those things, like buses coming from Dundee and stuff. I remember him saying there's a 15 from a sellout, and I was like, oh, got it. 15 people, you know what I mean? But the King Tut's was like a massive honour back then. I don't know what it's like now because I've not been in the scene, but I was just like, it was impossible to get a gig there back then.
Oh, well, a wee boy from my work, he started a band, and last year I says, well, I'll manage him. So I managed him for about a year, and in that year we get 2 gigs in King Tut's. So like that was like fucking pinnacle. And then I was like, right, Nick still got his Barrowlands. I couldn't get Barrowlands, so I've just left him to it now. But King Tut's is an honour. It'll always be an honour.
Yeah. There's a change of ways just got discovered on and stuff. Like, as far as it goes in Scotland, I don't really know if it's a bigger like venue for an unsigned band to play. Maybe apart from like the Barrowlands or something like that.
Aye. So, I mean, another place I seen you in Glasgow was, I think it was Capital on Sauchiehall Hall Street, and this was he's done a tour.
Yeah,
I can mind watching all the tour diaries because you took Chipsy with you.
Yeah.
And I can mind all the videos, and I think you'd done Leicester and places like that, and like Glasgow was the last date in the tour.
That was that was, we went away for 2 weeks, and that was before everybody had an iPhone. I was the only person with an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was like 4 days of videos, and then I broke the phone when we were steaming, and then that was it. So it was like dead silent until we went to internet cafes and stuff. Yeah, we were proper minking it out with that. We were it was just 9 of us in a 9-seater splitter van, and we had a tent as well. So
I can mind one of the videos, and Chipsy woke up halfway through it. He's were doing like a wee acoustic tune, and his dad just woke up or whatever. And then Chipsy woke up like halfway through it. I can mind that's
on the grass.
Yeah. Aye.
Chipsy was hilarious that tour. Honestly, he made that tour.
Oh, what a guy he is! I've still been into him like every 6 months at a gig or that, and it's like he's just one of the best guys, man. He's so fucking into his music. He's so knowledgeable, but such a fucking carry on as well.
Oh yeah, he's got some cool stories as well. Nah, Chipsy's a legend. He bought a pair of trainers off me a couple of weeks ago, but I wasn't in the shop when he picked them up, so I was glad I'd never seen him. But he's doing well now.
Aye, well, I was
business and all that. Sure, little Chipsy.
Aye, well, he's a roofer, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I was messaging him last week, around about the same time I was messaging you, and I wasn't sure if you'd got my message or that, and I says to Chipsy, I says, these a shout with Kris Boyle's number, but then fucking ran about half an hour, you'd message me back anyway, so. But Chipsy, I think we were in an in-depth conversation about Oasis and Richard Ashcroft. I was telling him I've heard the Richard Ashcroft's new album.
What's it like?
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's like a mixture of fucking pop and country, I would say. But I get a lot of the kind of pre-release albums through Katie Gwyfer. She sends me them for the podcast, but she's not giving me. I can't get Richard Ashcroft on. She's not letting me have him, and she's not gave me Liam Gallagher yet. So I keep plugging away until I get they two. So I like talking about the twist. Then obviously, standout tracks for me: Soft Lad, Sex Appeal, and Where Are You Going? They were all my favourites. Maybe for the listeners, how would you kind of explain the twist, the sound, and kind of how the band dynamic worked?
I would say that the band was like sort of half-assed. We should have tried like a lot harder. I was like a sort of, I don't know, just like I was a youthful sound of the time, trying to sound a bit like pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was more swinging to like sort of like a poppy sort of vibe, to be honest with you, than what I was wanting to play. But it I feel the way I look back on the Twisters, I feel like we should have like dedicated a lot more time to it.
I find like I had fucking visions of you being like the next ones after review. You were if you if you'd really fucking wanted it, you could have had that.
I think I think we all thought we were like sort of like just wee mini rock stars. If I actually like dedicated like a year actually just sitting down and writing and doing what we should have been doing instead of we just used to just like go out for gigs and just for nights out and stuff. And I don't know, like if I look back at it, I just feel like we should have tried a lot harder and we should have done like a lot better. To be honest, I remember one time we played the Ironworks with a view, and we hadn't practiced in 3 months. We hadn't been together for like 3 months or something. I can't remember what happened, but we all just showed up and went on stage, and it was like, shouldn't I be doing that? You know what I mean? So yeah, I should have just had a lot more better organisation, and it just should have been. I don't know. That's the way I look back and feel about it.
At the time though, when you're in that kind of you do probably get the sense that you're a rock star, and you're kind of like when you're looking at the view and all that, and kind of think, right, we just need to live up to that. I can mind seeing the view, and I think I've seen them 2 nights. I've seen them supporting Baby Shambles on the Saturday night, and then they were playing.
Is that when they first took off? Like the.
It must have been quite early, aye. They were supporting Shambles, and then the following night they were playing in Edinburgh at the Liquid Rooms. And the missus at the time, she was pregnant, so she drove in, and we're driving in Edinburgh looking for a parking space. And she says, "Ah, what's that wee guy at the view?" And he was getting carried, 2 guys carrying him, and it was Kyle. And I was like,
This when you had like the big long stupid hair.
aye, and I was like, no, it'll no be him. And then sure as fuck, he came on stage and he had the same hoodie on, and he could hardly walk, let alone fucking sing. But it was some gig in the Brogues. They supported that night, so that'd have been earlier then when Ronnie was in them. But so what? Like obviously, if you were kind of looking back and maybe you wish you'd dedicated more time, how did the band end?
God, that's going back. How did it end? Right. We never got the real side of it. See when we played that Tina Park, not Tina Park, the King Tut's that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we were on the run up to Tina Park and we were going to get it because that was like our ambition to get Tina Park. And then I remember they gave it to a band called The Controls,
Right.
who was the boy from Texas's son. I remember we done a support slot with the View on a tour, and we got like 6 dates or something. And this band, The Controls, they had like they were the first band, but they got like the whole of Scotland and the whole of England, and they were only playing 6 songs, and I think only 3 of them or 4 of them were their own. The other 2 were T-Rex covers. And you're just like, what is this shit? You know what I mean? Like, your band's here, people work, people dedicating just so you can get on these stages at this level. They're just handed it. And yeah, when they got Tina Park and they were still playing covers, I think I just sort of killed it for a lot of it. Because we were sort of thinking, we've got to do this for another year to even get looked at again. And it was I just think it was never the same after that. It just sort of died out, to be honest. We tried to come back again like a year later, and it wasn't the same. The scene was like dying out really bad. I think we played like 3 gigs, and then me and Billy quit or something.
Aye, because I mean, looking because I've followed you, so kind of I can mind Coxie. Coxie had a band for a bit, Crooked Saints or something.
That was him, Billy, and Jamie Allen. He was a good drummer. I liked Jamie.
And then obviously Billy's done his solo stuff, and as I say, fucking Ronnie's been in everything since then. So what about yourself? Did you know do anything else musically after that? Because obviously you talked about all these bands needing a drummer, and
I was in there. We mentioned Carousel. I was like, Brad got me as like one of the original members, but I just that fizzled out as well. I just never really got back into it. I was always just like, don't know, trying to find someone else to do, I suppose.
And you mentioned Brad there actually as well. He's just joined Vida.
Has he?
Aye.
I didn't know that.
So obviously it was Neon Waltz, went for a bit there. But
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just
Brad seems to get about with the bands now as well.
he's
Brad's a
just
good
joined
singer.
Vida. Obviously Vida have just got Jamie Pollock back as well. And now Brad's playing keys with him as well.
Yeah, I like Vida. Yeah, I really like Vida. Some good tunes. But no,
Aye.
I never knew that. I thought he was still with that. Yeah, it was a Neon Walks.
It was a surprise to me. I just seen it last week. It's literally just in the last few days.
I think they'll be more his vibe, to be fair. The Vida, they're proper lads, aren't they?
Well, I mean, I think they've had a few lineup changes. Obviously, Jamie left, and then he's just come back there. I think they might just be a four-piece now. Um,
They used to come to my shop in the early days. It was Nathan. He's right into the RD scene and stuff. I've not seen him for a while. But yeah, they used to come in the early days.
Aye, because I had two of them on the podcast not that long ago. It was Nat and Jamie Piggott that I had on. But I mean, that was a surprise. Even Jamie Pollock coming back, I thought that was fucking done there. So for him to come back and then Brad to join, I'd be interested to see where that goes. So nothing else for yourself. Just into the
Nah,
styling game at that point.
yeah, just sort of. It's not the same. Like, I don't know. It's just not the same for me as what it used to be. Like I suppose you would call it a youth culture for my generation, kind of coming up. The charts, you wouldn't know yourself. The charts for like maybe 2005 to 2010 was like guitar music dominated.
Hmm.
So they're even like I remember I went to Ibiza and there was indie bars in Ibiza. Like and there's more than one. Like I doubt you'll get that there now. But yeah,
That's how. Well, mind you used to get that Ibiza Rocks and all that. That used to be a thing. Well, I think that's fucking died away now as well, hasn't it?
they used to have the plectrum. That
Hmm.
was the badge, was it? I think it's just dance. It's just well, obviously, it's just like focused on dance nowadays. But yeah, like I was a different sort of culture. So I was more like musically, well, guitar musically, I would say. So like when I got into like social media dominated the world more, I think that just like sort of died out. It just wasn't the culture was never the same. Even like the gigs were never the same. I remember we used to like fill out like 250 to 300 people on like a Friday, Saturday night, and you were just expected to do that. And
Hmm.
I was done because people would come out. Like, you know what I mean? They would go out and there was a culture to it. Whereas I just like, even when you go out on a Friday night for a bevy now, it's just
But well, that's what I've heard. With that, like, I don't think there's any venues left, is there, in Dundee, really?
you've got like I don't know what they call them now, church.
Hmm.
But yeah, like the ones from the back of the day, like Dexter's is flats now. The original Doghouse is like it's called Duke's Corner. It's just like a sort of student sort of place now. Um, Clark's do live music, but it's not like a big stage.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like anywhere with a big stage, yeah, it's like sort of died out. I would say, which is a
Aye.
shame.
As a shame when you look back at that time and all the bands that were kicking about and kind of obviously like, going forward to like kind of you and the kind of activist sort of work that you're doing, trying to help the young kids. A thriving music scene would help that.
Yeah,
That
it would
would be
do.
brilliant for them.
To be fair, I've been doing because I've been doing talks with like certain schools and stuff and like the youth development things. It seems like there's a new sort of interest with Oasis coming back.
Hmm.
But it seems like a lot of kids, if they're into music, it seems to be they want to be a DJ. Got Hannah Lane's influence in Dundee especially, and she's like doing their sort of workshops, and like that's what I'm getting told throughout like the school systems. Yeah, that's a big influence. So musically, and even with her coming out, there's even more like little, what do they call them? Little, sorry. There's more DJs in Dundee that seem to be getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, the music's. I suppose there's still an interest in music. It's not the
Aye.
interest that I've got.
It's just no their music. Uh, so obviously like, doing the on the tools for a bit, doing the tiling and all that. When did the idea for the shop come in?
The first, I was sort of getting like the vibe because, well, when I was younger, I was never going to be a pretty boy. Like, it was never my thing. So I suppose like, I always like dressed slightly different. Maybe like you can call it peacocking, I suppose, so you stand out a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I always had like this sort of interest in like or clothes or trainers or something that like people wouldn't have. I think we maybe start to feel like TV or music. A lot today with like Oasis as well, like you know what stuff they were wearing in the 90s, like Penfield jackets or Burberry shirts or fake London Parkers. You know what I mean? You would take an interest in what was going on with that. So when it comes into like when I was doing the Thailand, I don't know why. I just got like because I had a bit of money set aside. I started buying like getting into the vintage clothes side of things because people are always at me for like, where'd you get this? Where'd you get this? Where'd you get this? So I was like, sort of, there's maybe a point to be turned with it. So it slowly started from that. I shifted from like vintage clothes to trainers pretty quickly because obviously I always had an interest in the trainers, but like, the trainer game at the time was like evolving every month. That was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So I just seen it coming before anybody else because I knew how big it was. Well, especially because like my interest was only ever in Addy. I seen it was coming before like more. So I was in the right place at the right time when it boomed. But sort of like what we described in the music scene right now. For the past like 4 years, the trainer scene is dead. That's why I sell a lot more clothes now and stuff like that to keep the interest in the shop and to keep the shop evolving because I was in the right place at the right time. It was great, but like you say, you've got to always evolve. You've got to keep it fresh. You've got people's interests, and the trainer game alone isn't doing that anymore.
Right. And what did it start out as? Was it, for what I've seen it at the start, were you doing like cleaning and customizing? Was that how it started?
Yeah. Well, at the
Because
time, like
see that sort of thing. See at the time you were, as you say, you were like the first one I seen doing it. And now if you look, they're fucking all over the place. People cleaning trainers and all that. But at the time you were the only one that I'd seen do it.
the pioneers for me were Sneakery Al for the cleaning game, and they're originally from Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good, but I'm like I go in their shop now. I've always had mad respect for them. Like for the cleaning side of it, like they were great. I just always thought when I was starting that up that cleaning alone wasn't going to like take it to where I wanted to take it. So, and I had a mad interest at customs at the time because it was fresh. No one was doing it. Well, no one was doing it locally anyway, or to the level that I got it to in Scotland. There's a guy now actually. He's got a line that I actually love. Boy Connor. He's called Soul Rebel in Edinburgh. He says when he seen me doing it, I was like Noel Gallagher watching the Stone Roses, and I was just like that line alone. I just love hearing that. You know what? He's far better than I ever was at. Like the stuff he makes is great. It's great to see. So I fully support him with that. Like,
That's brilliant. I got actually touching back to like the view. I got Ryan McPhail mind done the artwork. I
yeah,
mean,
he done my logo. That's where
did
the
he?
logo
Oh, in
comes from.
fact, I knew that I see it. What's that? Obviously, I had him on the podcast a couple of months ago, but that's a brilliant interview with him. But I mind getting a pair of trainers off him at the time. He used to do like all his artwork on the.
Yeah, on the View albums.
So but the missus chucked him out fucking years ago. They had holes in the sole and all that, and I'm still
See
raging.
what he's meant to have done, man. So it's like, you've seen the photos he puts on Insta, like the Star Wars sets and everything. It's so
Oh,
cool.
brilliant.
I remember I sent him a hoodie and he gave me the address to send it to. It was like the Stanley Kubrick building. I was just like, it was really cool. So like, he was a year above me at school as well.
Mm. Well,
So
that's it.
yeah,
I mean, he was telling me that he's like good mates with Mark Wahlberg and all that.
yeah, he probably is.
Aye,
He was
no.
involved with the stabbing on the bridge as well. I'm sure he saved somebody's life. I can't remember
Aye,
the details of
I've
it. Like,
got it's. See that man? It's on that podcast episode. Go and listen to it, man. It's fucking brilliant.
yeah,
All the Dundee boys are the best on the podcast. So, and like touching on that, then for that you kind of you were doing a wee bit of podcasting yourself for a bit.
I tried it. It was never my idea. The idea got took to me. But yeah, I gave it a bash, to be fair. I found it quite hard. Like, it's all right if somebody's easy to speak to. You can have a conversation, but if somebody's not easy to speak to, I'm trying to get the conversation interesting. I felt a lot of pressure with that, to be fair. So I see it as it's not as easy as what people think it is, I suppose.
No, it's a tough game. But again, that was like the first kind of fashion sort of podcasty thing that I listened to. Then for that, there's one that's kicking about the new called My Own Garms. I'm trying to think the boy that does it. He used to produce Craig Parkinson's podcast. You know Craig Parkinson, he was in Line of Duty. He had a podcast interviewing actors, and this guy was the producer, and then he fucked off and started his own one that's all talking to people about fashion, stuff like that, which would be something that might be interest to you to go on at some point. I could maybe pass your details.
Yeah, no, I could talk clothes all day.
I think that'd be right up your street, and it'd be something I'd like to listen to.
I think people just like gravitate to the nostalgia stuff. Like, when I've spoke about, like, I tend to find when I speak about stuff that I actually never seen because I was too, like, wasn't born or I was too young to remember. People like that, this whole generation of people just gravitate to that straight away. Like if you mention like Travel Fox or Troop or SPX, and it takes them right back to the early 90s. All the shops they used to go to, and yeah, people just like, I think they just gravitate to it straight away.
So on that kind of, obviously we've been big on trainers. What a question that I thought I need to ask, and I don't know how hard this will be for you to answer. It might be something that changes for you on a regular basis. What would be your top 3 trainers
of all time?
Aye.
Right. I've always got to say the Marathon 80 because I don't know why they've done it, but they put it in the Warriors game on the PS2. They used to get it on, like, I used to notice this weird stuff. There's wee adverts for the Marathon 80. So I always loved that shoe because of that, because it was it's the Stockholm colourway. It's a blue with a yellow stripe. And I got I've had a few pairs. I just love that old trainer because the reissue of it is nowhere near as nice as the original 80s version.
So well, that's it. Because they've reissued they've done that for, is it No Gallagher ones that are Marathon, aren't they?
Marathon 85, they've reissued it twice now. Like, honestly, don't get me started on, like, I've ruined it with that. 5 Liam Gallagher trainers and there's now 4 no's. But, yeah, the Marathon 85, which is a nice trainer, to be fair. It is a nice trainer. I put the Marathon 80 in there. I would have to put the ZX 8000 in there just because the aqua colour is really iconic to a lot of people as well. And I just remember it from like the late 90s. It's probably one of the first like iconic trainers I could gravitate as a youngster to really remember him. And my favourite trainer is the ZX 800.
Right.
Which is well documented. I mention it all the time. I always get dead excited when I get a pair and do a video and everything like that. But yeah, I would say they're my top 3.
Right. And what, like, having somebody like a fucking trainer expert on, obviously I wear a lot of Gazelles and stuff like that. And I don't know what it is now. See, like the newer ones, the sole doesn't seem to last. I feel as if you maybe get a month out of them and then the fucking sole's all gone. So what's the script with that? Is that, have they been made like that?
100%. They went 100% plastic, to be fair. Like, there's not even real suede anymore.
Aye.
I'd have to. They just reproduce the Gazelle so much nowadays. I would have to, like, just a bog standard like Mark II Gazelle.
Aye. The sole just goes so bad. See at the heel.
Yeah, wears down and then the Foxen just like comes apart. Yeah, they're just that sort of style of shoe. It really isn't made to last that long because of the way that it's put together. It's called a Foxen that goes all the way around the shoe. So that hides the tiny little midsole, the arch of the heel, and like
Mm-hmm.
the base of the tread. So they're wrapped that around to make that look nice. So once you wear it a good bit, like that's going to come apart out of the heel.
Because I end up walking. I'll wear them and walk to my work or something, and I think that's how you're walking in them too much. You can only really wear them in a night out of that.
I used to love a pair called the Lacombs because they were like slippers. They were really soft, and it's the same sort of style, kind of, but just a white leather. But they used to, honestly, you got like 3-4 months out of them, and they would fall apart. But I just kept buying them and buying them because it was just so comfy, and just like a white trainer is just easy to go with anything. And it's easy to clean as well, so you can just give it a wipe and you're good to go.
And obviously, like the vintage clothing. Then, how do you go about sourcing that? Where do you Have you got like a network of people that you kind of work with?
I do. I've got like loads of. You have to cater to like many different styles. To be fair, a lot of people, especially with Stone Island, like there's just a whole generation that want overshirts or just like a jumper. But then you get the actual like collectors who are looking for that standout, like nice piece that isn't kicking about everywhere. And to be honest with you, a lot of people don't want to pay the full out price of what these jackets go
Oh,
for.
aye.
Every season they're getting dearer and dearer. Like there's jackets every season now for like 5.5 grand. Like who can afford that apart from football players, realistically? So yeah, like you have to cater to like a lot of different things. So I've got people who'll get like newer stuff and I'll deal with them. But the good thing about Scotland, as a Scottish thing especially, I would say, for one, I'm trying to push the ZX series quite a lot because I was like I was a casually iconic thing in the 80s, and like these boys all like the runners, but I didn't really come through with my generation, I would say, and I didn't really. And when the trainer scene was kicking off again, people were more interested in flat sweats. You know what I mean? It was more like a band look, and like, it
Mm-hmm.
fitted more of that. So the interest in the runners, apart from all these guys who were really loved these trainers in the 80s and bought them when they came back out and reissued. Like no one was really interested until recently, until about 2019, 2020. So all these like little shops like Manifesto and all these like shops all about Scotland that had an interest in this and bought these trainers in, they're all about the area. So people who know what I'm up to, like the stuff that walks through my door alone, like week to week, I'm actually like really impressed with. Like for instance, the ZX 450 is like, and again, a casually iconic trainer from the 80s, and it's one of the trainers that I get asked for the most ever. Like everybody wants a pair, you can never get a pair, and one of the problems being the original colorway of that shoe, which is a blue with silver.
Mm-hmm.
It was re-released again once in 2009, but it was only released in America, which made it even harder for the boys here that really wanted it to get it. So getting people with that pair is even more scarce. And yeah, some guy just walks in my shop on Thursday, and he's just like, he's got the ZX 450s there. I'm just looking at the box like, wow. And he says, I want you to do them up to sellers, because I'm going to sell them. So I'm just looking at it. I'm like, there's no one to sell them to me. You know what I mean? Save the drama. I'll just buy them now. So yeah, we've done a deal with that, and I'm just like, yes, like that's the first pair I've had. They're that scarce. So moments like that, like I love that. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Because like it doesn't happen every day. You get a wee buzz. Like I put a video up. I think it's had like 60,000 views or something. Just like turning a box, with, like just saying ZX 450 on it. You know what I mean? Because it gets a bit of buzz in these boys.
Mm-hmm. But
So,
see when you see, because you're like heavy into it, because like, I mean I like my trainers, and I like to get like special releases and stuff like that, but I wear them. Do you wear them, or do they
yeah.
display?
I can't not wear them, Like, don't know what it is. Yeah, there's people say wearer or starer, and yeah, I'm a wearer. I've always been a wearer.
I mean, I get it, because that's kind of, you get them because they look good and you want to look good wearing them. So why would you not wear them? You just
Yeah,
can't
no,
you can't wear them when it's pissing down, which is it's a total bollock staying here in it. See if you
oh,
had if you had a trainer shop out in LA or something, you'd be able to wear whatever you like, whenever you like.
Like they're Yeah, you know what? I think living in Scotland, like, sort of gives you a good education of what to wear and what sort of weathers. Look at the clouds and guess what sort of day it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be one of those days where you wear white leathers. But yeah, definitely.
And obviously, before we go into the next part, obviously, something that I've seen just in the last few months, and you reposted it actually today because that fucking rag, the sun, got a hold of it. A wee story about the finding a bit of weed in a jacket,
Yeah, big slab of dope. Yeah,
a bit of soap bar for the
it's
90s.
it's
It
actually
must be everything to do with the Britpop summer and all that coming back. It must all be connected in some way.
it was. You know what? It was just funny. I was guessing just for the weight of it. I was definitely like over an ounce. So for somebody to forget about like an ounce of dope, like back in that day, man, it must have been. They must have had like a party lifestyle.
And what was that? Did you do that in was it the Dundee Telegraph that reported it? And then,
No, I just that one like seriously like took off. I've never had a post like that. It's got like 4,500 like likes on Instagram or something. I just like took off its own life. That was a daily record. They got in touch with me about that. I wasn't going to do it because I was just like I don't know. And then like I sat on it for like a couple of days, and then it was Declan who works for me. He was just like, "We should just do it." And I was just like, "Yeah, you know what?
good kind of advertisement for the shop though as well, and it's kind of free fucking ad space.
To be fair, yeah, it's funny. Like you read, I went on, I read the comments of the Daily Record thing. I was getting people were saying I look like Adam Sandler, and I was like, "Fuck off! I look nothing like Adam Sandler." And then there was other people saying I was lying. I was like,
Why would you lie about
"Yeah, like where am I even going to get a bit of dope from nowadays?" Like, I don't even know. But yeah, they're just the stuff like that. But yeah, it brought a lot of. It did bring a lot of attention. Like I never knew the Sun done that. That got brought to my attention the day, and I was just, I wasn't happy about
that? Aye. Well, they do that with everything though. See if you see like all their sports stories. They seem to get their sports stories, their football stories. They seem to like watch an episode of Open Goal and then just get a couple of days and report back fucking, oh, this guy said this, and it's like an exclusive, and you're like, no, that
it.
was
Yeah,
an Open Goal.
they get a
And it's a
lot from
fucking
social
story
media.
for about fucking 10 years ago.
They get a lot from social media, like a lot. It's actually like I don't know.
It's lazy journalism, isn't it? It's fucking
It
like
just seems to be going on everywhere. Like yeah, it just seems like they're sniffing about for a story. There's a lot about promotion about getting because everybody gets paid for like monetization nowadays, do
hmm.
they? So a lot
I
of
don't
these
get paid. I get fuck all for this. I've been doing this 4 years and I've no moved house or anything anyway. The best I've got is this new dog.
yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, obviously, a petition. I think it said when I signed the petition, it said it runs for 6 months. So I think is it due to run out this month?
No, if it runs out in February,
It runs out in February.
yeah, you get 6 months to do it. I'm hoping because I've got a lot like lined up within the next like 3 weeks.
Hmm.
Because it is hard. It's hard to keep it. It's hard to keep it going. Like I thought I would get a lot more signatures than what I got just now. I think we're just about to hit 3,000. I think it's been up for under a month now. But yeah, because I've got a lot going on with the youth development stuff, I'm hoping like we can promote it without constantly having to sit and talk about them with me doing videos or whatever else. Just like show a positive way to do it and just like this is what we're doing. We want to fund it. You know what I mean? To like implicate this in many more places and yeah, and just get the ball rolling with it. To be fair, but yeah, 100,000 signatures is a lot.
Hmm.
Well, we'll get to the 10. I'm very, very, very confident we'll get to the 10. We'll need to get a reply. But I think I'm going to need to think out the box to get it to the 100.
We'll look into ways, man. I'm going to try and get the podcasters that I know as well to kind of promote it on theirs and things like that. Because it's something that kind of
Yeah,
when I've seen that you're doing it, it is such a good cause, and it's what is it like then? What can you describe it as like up in Dundee at the moment?
Just now, the worst I've ever seen it. The worst I've ever seen it. We came up in hard. Somebody said to me, right, and this is how hard one is. Somebody said to me, I miss the Smack days because they were more chilled out on the Smack, and it's just like, what a statement to make. But yeah, since the cracks hit Dundee, this place has changed dramatically. Like people aren't even fully aware of everything that's going on. Like the major incidents are reported and all this sort of stuff, but a lot of it isn't. Like a lot of it isn't.
And I mean, so there was a young mother killed, wasn't there?
Yeah.
When was that? The summer, July or something? And then obviously this incident with the 12-year-old lassie, but they're the ones being reported, but I'd imagine there's tons more going on for you to be kind of highlight it.
They were like crazy incidents. The one with the doctor, I don't really like talking too much about incidents, but yeah, I feel like the one with the doctor, the father of the boy who done it has done a really great job of showing people like where the flaws in the system really are here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's more to that story, and I think he's doing a great job with that. To be fair, because it's a really tragic story, But Lochee, the area in itself, where this has all happened, like because the two incidents you've mentioned, they were on the same street.
Right.
They were literally on the same street. The area that this is happening in, there's another reported incident where they caught like a 9-year-old with a knife there.
What's in it then?
Yeah, the culture. Like I was speaking to like a lot of people about it who are working with the kids, and everybody's like pretty agreed upon it's like this sort of top boy culture. You know what I mean? They're speaking different. They think they're wee roadmen. Like this is what's been glamorised, and this is like, I suppose we've mentioned like youth culture when we're speaking. And I suppose this is what you're going to have to call it, because people like I don't put out all the information that I'm giving in because I'm trying to like I've never done this before as well, so I'm trying to be very careful about what I say and the way I word things.
Yeah, you need to be careful to protect the people that you're helping and protect yourself.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear from just like normal people, and like the stories that you hear, and like especially the kids. I think it's becoming this normal culture where they're just saying we're carrying for protection, and it's a normalised thing between like the age of like 12 to 14. These kids they're thinking this is normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like the amount of mothers that have said that to me, a lot of their girls or boys, they think this is normal, and when they're being shown like videos of kids with like zombie knives and all this, it's just a crazy. I don't even know how to explain it, because like the Dundee I grew up in, it was like a hard place. But like we were proud of our culture. Like I said, maybe like it was a neg culture or whatever it was. But like that was our culture. We didn't pretend we were from London. We were Scottish. We done our thing, and it was never like I was never glamorised for us to carry knives. None of my mates done it. And I had some seriously like wrong in the head mates, like proper like lads. But none of them. No one carried knives. No one. The only like.
I think that it's the same up and down the country though, isn't it? Like I mind what I was like, my young team was like when we were young, and then you look at them now and they're completely different. I'd say they're 10 times worse. It's like they're no scared of anything. You know what I mean? I mind you go out and stand outside the shop and ask somebody to go in for booze for you, and then you get the booze and you get away out the road down the woods or something. Now they don't care. They'll stand outside the shop and drink their carrots. So they'll give people abuse and all that. We used to hide and just kind of try and give yourself an easy life. I think it's just a progression all these years.
There's no repercussion for their actions, to be fair. Like, because I work in the centre of town, in the city centre, I've literally seen like kids that are like, I don't know what age, between like young teens that have stole something out the shop, like chocolates, and the security guards can't touch them, they can't do anything, they're just going to escort them out the shop, while this kid's sitting eating what they've stolen, just looking at them, giving them shite. And then when they get outside, they'll just throw it on the floor because they're like, I've witnessed stuff like this with my own eyes. Like, and it's just like they're not worried about any repercussions of that because they know they're going to get away with it. Like we couldn't do that back in the day. Like you stole something, but you got grabbed and you got like taken out. Like you just, I don't know what it is. Yeah, but there's a lot of. There's no fear for the repercussions. I don't think at all.
Yeah. So, other than the petition, then what other stuff are you kind of doing alongside that?
Right now, because I've got, like I said, I didn't really hit an experience in this. I'm just like going as quick with it all as I can. We've got a good few projects throughout the city. I'm trying to clarify it this week with, I always forget his title. He's basically the head of the whole youth development in the council. It's a guy called Jimmy Dodge. I've got a meeting with him this week because they're going to hopefully give me the funding to do this throughout all the youth centres in Dundee, get like night classes for kids to come in. But I've been going in between the schools now. There's a school in Dundee called Connect 5, which is where like more of the trouble kids go to. And I was in there during the week there, and the NHS have given funding for three documentary films to be done in schools, and they've asked me to do that. So I think they're going to be doing, one of the videos will be done on knife crime, the other one's going to be done on crack cocaine, and I think the third one's about sit-on bikes, like electric bikes and that, because they're kicking about the streets doing that, which I don't really know much about, but I don't know if I'll be involved with that one. But so yeah, they're going to be documented, and they're going to be quite harrowing, I think. You know, like obviously telling like true stories.
I think that's what people need, though, is to hear stories like that shock them enough to kind of. There needs to be some sort of change, and that's the only way that people will understand it.
See, one that hit me quite like bad. No one sort of knows, but I want to use for the film is. There was a boy that I grew up with. I'm not mentioning names of him, but there was a boy I grew up with who was a bit of a head case, and he ended up getting stabbed and nearly dying when he was drinking and he was on it in a party with some boy, and the boy just turned on him and he nearly died. And in the paper, for whatever I can't remember what I was in the paper for, but I was in the paper for something. So I've obviously bought this paper, seen me in it. And then flick the page, and then there's my old mate, and he's like, there's a picture of him getting stretched in an ambulance, blood everywhere, and all this stuff, and it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, even though I've not spoken like years and years and years, like it's still my mate from my youth, so, and that's just like sort of the norm of what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a scary thing. I mean, like where I come from, I see the same things, you know, like I've bumped into old mates, like the hanging about shops and all that when you're younger, and then but some people like that are still doing that 20 years,
Yeah,
20 years later. Like, I kind of, as soon as I could get into a pub, I wanted to go to pubs and kind of socialise and all that, where others either they didn't have access to it through they didn't have as much money or whatever, and they're kind of you look and you bump into them 20 years later, and their life's the same as it was, and it's horrible. It's horrible to think how
that you're caught in the
that
battery.
could have been you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I've seen it. I've seen so many boys do it, and like some boys don't make it. Like every year, like there's just less and less. And it's sad to watch because that's the thing about like people don't really know like or understand why I'm trying to do it. Like I've spent the past 10 years trying to make like Dundee like a cooler city centre and give it like, a cooler option. But being in the city centre is you see it every day. So you see how bad it is every day. Like there's even a guy on about the Arctic Bar now. The owner of the Arctic Bar's going to shut the bar because it's crack alleyway now. But it's so bad. Like all the crackheads go up there to shoot up all day. And there's like I've went and walked through there at one point. There was like 60 of them. Like they're like a wee school, like crackheads basically. And all I think is like, imagine that was some like granny walking through there. She'd be petrified.
Yeah.
But like it is that bad. The business owner who's had that business for like 20, 30 years is wanting to shut it because obviously the police aren't doing anything. And this is what they're doing. They're just in the town. They've not got another option. So they're in the town doing what they're doing. And, like, you know what? They're getting so crack for kids, because that's another thing that I can see, because I've seen it daily. I'm walking about the town. And I'm like, that's another thing that I just my head kind of phantom.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So obviously you're doing this petition. I'll post a link for the petition and the show notes. And when I'm promoting the podcast, obviously I'll post a link to that as well. But man, all the work you're doing is hats off to you for it, because it's, you know what I mean, you're doing a good thing, and hopefully at least we get to 10,000 and then work to the 100,000.
Yeah.
But I absolutely commend you for what you're doing on that front.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
The last part of the podcast, obviously, I don't know if in the email I sent you, obviously it's good time for heroes. I asked my guest to pick 4 heroes to come for dinner. Why they're your heroes and what would you cook for them? Obviously, dead or alive, any walk of life you want, musicians, sports people, whoever you want. But four heroes, and 4 heroes, why and what would you cook for them?
I always say my granddad's my hero, because he taught us so much and values. So I'll take him, my granddad. I'm not trying to get clever with it. I'll take a go John Lennon, because I've always been a massive Beatles fan.
Mm-hmm.
He was always like a young hero, so I'll take a go John Lennon. I've met Ian Brown, so probably leave that out there. Adi Dazzler. I would have to have a conversation with Adi Dazzler.
Mm-hmm.
And Massimo Ozzy. I would pick his brain as well. And I'm a terrible cook, man. Terrible. The only thing that I've ever been able to make that would even sound like sort of alright was swordfish. My dad showed me.
Yeah, mate, that's like, I've never had swordfish picked on the podcast. That's fucking.
Honestly, it was really good. But my dad showed me how to make that so I could try and impress a girl years ago. But I remember making it and thinking, wow, this tasted alright. But I think that's.
I will go swordfish. I think that would impress the guests as well. I mean, Oxy with the Stone Island, the CP company, and all that's a brilliant guess. Him and Adi Dazzler, would you? I think that would be the one time that John Lennon's been picked, and he probably need to take a back seat.
See, the thing with Adi Dazzler is, like, so many people try to gravitate to he was in the Nazi party, blah blah blah. The most beautiful story about that, right, is you ever heard of Jesse Owens, the black Olympic runner?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he never got to, he won it. He never got to like salute in front of Hitler and all this stuff. But the night before that, Adi Dazzler, because he knew he was the best athlete and he invented these spiked shoes, like he went behind the Nazi regime, because he knew he would have got in trouble for this, to make sure that Jesse Owens was running in his shoes. You know what I mean? So and he stormed everything he was in. So it just shows, like, even back then, he didn't care about like colour or anything like that. He just it was just athletes. You know, he was making shoes for athletes, and this was you can call it a science, because this is what it was, like the science of the shoes that man created and the styles that went on for like the next 50 years. Well, we're still getting more today.
Mm-hmm.
They're still getting more today, and they're still like very fashionable. So yeah, that guy was. You would definitely need to pick his brain.
Yeah. I mean, they two would be fascinating, and obviously John Lennon's like the most picked guest ever. He must be picked one in every 2 episodes or whatever.
He's probably just the biggest character, one of the biggest characters in history.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about the Beatles' music, but you could listen to it and it just gets you every time, especially if you've not heard them in a while. The last
There's so
time I
much difference as well, like kind of their political songs or pop songs. There's a bit of everything with the Beatles.
I prefer, like, I do prefer the later Beatles, when they stopped touring and they were doing like all the studio stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you separate it like the two ways. It's just like the early Beatles is all like pop love songs and all that. But I think when you put them on, you don't really care what you're listening to, if you know what I mean. Like, you're not getting if it's like the more poppy, like love songs, or if it's like slightly the later stuff. They're all just great. Like Let It Be or Rubber Soul, I would take to say are my two favourite albums. But they're so different sounding, to be fair.
Well, I was always John Lennon. John Lennon was the man above everything else. And then see the documentary, see that Get Back documentary. You see everything that Paul McCartney done. And Paul McCartney was fucking pissing against the wind. He was the only one interested in it, and basically fucking done that single-handedly. That must have been so hard for him to kind of motivate the rest of them.
Yeah, I think
it kind of put him in a different light for me.
I think, John left the band when they recorded Let It Be, I think. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that is right. But yeah, it was a weird documentary, I thought. Like, sort of just the chilled out vibe, and them just sitting and recording that.
Well, the thing that I got for it is how is all that footage been there that length of time and nobody'd ever used it? That's mental.
You know what? Like, I always thought was really underrated was the George Martin Love album. You know, it's just like a Beatles mega mix. That was brilliant. Like, I like watching the stuff when they were in recording with him. You know, like Tomorrow Never Knows and everything, like the backwards recordings.
Yeah,
I still think that sounds epic today. Like when you put it all loud in the car, it's just brilliant.
Well, I've seen you get the Anthology Force coming out shortly as well.
I did see something about that. Yeah, I love the anthologies. You always find like wee hidden gems, like different recordings, and they're good to listen to.
Yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's been an absolute fucking pleasure speaking to you tonight. Going down memory lane, man. We've maybe I've been hoping for a twist reunion. We've got all these reunions going on, so
we've done it at Halloween. Probably about 10 years now. We're all dressed up. The last story I'll leave you with is this was Coxie to a T. We all agreed to go as Clockwork Orange. You know, it's like it's in that. So me, Sooty, Ronnie didn't play. It was me, Billy, and Sooty. We turned up like Clockwork Orange, and Coxie turned up as the Transylvania transvestite from the Rocky Horror Show. There's photos.
I'm pretty sure there are photos somewhere. I'm pretty sure I've seen them.
Yeah, he wouldn't stick to the band theme, you know what I mean? He turned up and did his own thing. But I love Cox. I bumped into him in Benidorm
right.
A couple of months ago. So we were sitting here in a bevy in a catch up. He's some boy. I do love that boy.
I maybe have a deep dive and try and get some of the rest of it. I've been pestering Billy for years as well, but he's kind of...
I've not seen Billy in years. I don't know what Billy is just now.
I think he's kind of... I think I messaged him a few months ago, and he's like, "Oh no, nobody wants to hear what I've got to say." And I see the people that say that are usually the people that everybody wants to hear about. It's the same with Ryan McPhail. It took me 4 years to get Ryan McPhail on the podcast, and then it was like a fucking 2.5 hour episode. I couldn't get rid of him.
Yeah, imagine if you McPhail to something. I will listen to that, to be fair. He's a very humble guy. He doesn't like show you about a lot, I think.
It's a good interview, man. It's really enlightening. But I mean, as I say, I've had Kyle, I've had Pete, I've had Webby. Try to get Chipsy on as well, because Chipsy's got some brilliant stories, but he's no into it either. But the Dundee boys are the best, man. I always felt like an honorary Dundonian. An absolute pleasure speaking to you tonight, Kris, man.
Yeah, some for having us on, man.
And good luck with everything with the petition and all that, and I'll post all the links, as I says. But absolute pleasure.
Nice one, man. Yeah, we'll speak again.
Cheers, man. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Time for Heroes podcast. If you would like to get in touch, the best way is on the Facebook page, Time for Heroes podcast, or on Instagram at Time for Heroes podcast, or Twitter at Time for Heroes P1, or drop me an email at timeforheroespod@gmail.com. You'll find Time for Heroes on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google and Amazon. Please leave a review where you can, share with others, and more importantly, enjoy.